Hello everyone, it's Rabbi Michael Shields, Associate Rabbi here at Temple Sinai, with another episode of the Weekly Middah, looking at the Haftarah and really seeing what Jewish value emerges from the Haftarah for the week. So this week we look at the prophet Jeremiah, chapter 1, and there's a Jewish value embedded growing out of the Haftarah, one that we can carry with us long after Shabbat has ended. And it's the value, the Middah of Ometz lev, courage of the heart. And in the beginning of Jeremiah, and if I'm honest, Jeremiah might be the most relatable person in the entire Bible. God calls him to become a prophet. And Jeremiah's first response isn't excitement. It isn't confidence. It's basically, you got the wrong guy. He says, I don't know how to speak. I'm only a youth. I love that the Bible preserves this moment and moments like this, because most of us know what Jeremiah is feeling. Most of us have been asked maybe to lead something and thought, surely there's someone more qualified. Have you ever wanted to stand up for someone or volunteer or teach or speak or simply make a difference, and then immediately started listing all of the reasons that you weren't the right person? I think we've all been there. And here's what I find fascinating. God doesn't argue with Jeremiah's resume. God doesn't say, actually, you're incredibly gifted, Jeremiah. Instead, God says something so important. Don't be afraid, because I will be with you. That's where this week's Middah, this week's value, comes in. Ometz lev, courage of the heart. Not bravado, not pretending we're fearless, not having all the answers. Jewish courage has never been about feeling ready. It's about taking the next step, the next faithful step, even when we don't feel ready. One of my favorite sayings is, God doesn't always call the qualified. God often qualifies the called. That seems to be Jeremiah's story, and maybe it's ours too. The Haftarah also begins something significant in our Jewish calendar. It's the first of the 3 weeks leading to Tisha B'Av. During these weeks, the prophets ask Israel to look honestly at itself, not because they want to shame people, but because they believe that people can change. What a powerful lesson. It takes courage to look in the mirror. It takes courage to admit that we've missed the mark. It takes courage to apologize. It takes courage to forgive. It takes courage to ask difficult questions about our families, our communities, even our synagogue. Not because we're giving up on them, but because we love them enough to help them become even better. That's one of the most Jewish things we do. We don't criticize because we've lost hope. We wrestle because we refuse to lose hope. As Rabbi Jonathan Sacks of blessed memory once wrote, Judaism is a religion of hope. We believe tomorrow can be better than today because human beings can choose differently. That takes courage. I think about our community as I read Jeremiah. Every tradition was once a new idea. Every thriving synagogue exists because someone had the courage to imagine something that didn't exist yet. Here we are, building up to our 60th anniversary as a congregation. And thank goodness that 59 years ago, someone had the courage to welcome in a new group, to begin something new. And that group then welcomed in strangers. That group and the subsequent generations started a choir. This congregation has taught children and adults, and committees have formed, and people have stepped forward to lead them. We've comforted people who are grieving. And in each generation, we've asked, what if we could do this even better? Communities don't become holy because everyone agrees. They become holy because ordinary people keep showing up with extraordinary courage. So here's my invitation for this week. Practice Ometz Lev. Where is God nudging you outside your comfort zone? Maybe it's making a phone call you've been putting off. Maybe it's checking in on someone who's been on your mind. Maybe it's trying something new here at Sinai, offering an idea. Maybe it's simply believing that your voice matters. Because Jeremiah reminds us that God doesn't ask for perfection. God asks for presence. God asks for one faithful step, one courageous conversation, one act of kindness, one yes, when every part of us wants to say, can't you find somebody else? May this week give each of us the courage to answer God's call in whatever form it comes, not because we feel completely ready, but because we trust that we never walk alone. Wishing you an early Shabbat Shalom.